Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
It used to be hard for this family to run and play in their yard. That big pooch left its business all over. Dad would spend his time cleaning up puppy messes. Now, I make sure the yard is clean so they can play without worry. Yes, there really is a poop fairy.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim and Larry E, and welcome to another wonderful Wednesday on Tim's Tidbits. How you doing, Larry?
Chilling, man. I'm good, man. Exercising, training, working, living, surviving, complaining, drinking, eating, sleeping.
You're covering all the bases,
taking
man. You got
pretty much doing everything. Yeah. What about you? You good?
We're doing good. Hey, it's up north here. It's really nice. Hey, I don't have to. I avoid some of that Texas heat, but I guess it's getting better down there now. But hey,
we don't know.
Yeah, we've just went through our fall season, so the leaves have all changed, starting to fall off the trees, and now it's time to get out there and grab the rake and rake up, piles and piles of freaking
Living
leaves.
in Texas is like being in like a bad relationship. You just got to take it day to day, day by day.
There you go. I love being right up here where we're at, man. It's super nice. Hey, let's get into some of the conversation about what the hell's going on in the world and keep everybody informed, so to speak. Is Tuesday, apparently, they passed a two-part resolution in the House, which will go to the Senate. Kind of like a stopgap spending bill to see if we can keep our government running for another couple of months. It gets to the point of ridiculous. I mean, the infighting, I guess, how can you have all these representatives sitting in there and they can't, agree on one damn thing, Larry? It's amazing to me, and especially when it comes to keeping your government running. I know they got all these other sidebar issues, but my God, it's crazy. Let's check out this video and let's get back here and talk about this.
Good morning. For the second time in just 2 months, the nation is on the brink of a government shutdown. The new House Speaker Mike Johnson expected to bring his plan to the floor in a few hours, but he's facing growing opposition from members of his own party. This morning, House Speaker Mike Johnson clashing with his own party over how to avert a government shutdown, now just about 72 hours away.
I just think this is the wrong approach, and it's not one that I can support.
Johnson's plan is unconventional, splitting funding into two parts, keeping agencies like Veteran Affairs, Transportation and Housing functioning until January, and the rest of the government until February.
What we're trying to do is make sure the government stays in operation because we're in a dangerous time.
Johnson can only afford to lose 3 Republicans. At least a dozen say they will not support it, demanding deep spending cuts.
Are you a no?
Yes, I'm a no.
We're over $1 trillion now in interest on the national debt, and this does nothing.
Congressman, are you supporting Johnson's plan?
I'm not supporting this CR as it's been described to me. I'm not voting for it.
That means Johnson will need bipartisan support to avoid a shutdown. Some Democrats signaling they are open to his idea.
The Speaker's proposal is far from perfect, but the most important thing is that it refrains from making steep cuts.
If Congress does not act, 3.5 million federal workers would lose a paycheck, including TSA agents and air traffic controllers preparing for busy Thanksgiving travel.
Average Joe American, when the money doesn't come in your account, you may not be having any food on the table.
Yeah, that's about atypical. Send everybody, how many millions of people off of their job just before Thanksgiving to Christmas? Hey, happy holidays. We can't figure
They
out.
said they won't receive a check. Is it like they getting fired or
No.
they just ain't gonna get that check?
Yeah, they'll just be laid off. Some of them will not be getting a dime. The only people that get paid is what they classify as essential employees.
Why would you want to work for the government knowing it's so inconsistent? I'm like, there's got to be other opportunities out there.
Yeah, but I don't believe
And then-
it's just getting ridiculous now. You've got so many, different factions rather within the government. You've got, with the Freedom Caucus, that group. You've got your standard Republicans that are, thinking they like the old way, keep it like it is. You got progressive Democrats that, want to change some things. And then you've got some far left that just is off the hook too. So, I mean, there's no cohesiveness within the government. I mean, it's almost like we're voting in a bunch of morons.
You know what? I noticed that I was on the corporate side of this company one time, and I was a corporate guy, and nobody wanted to make a decision because they was afraid the decision was going to go wrong, and no one wanted to take the blame for making a decision, and then it fails. But if it succeeds, then everybody was with it, but they never make decisions. So I think the government is it's like a corporation. Nobody really wants to make a solid decision.
They don't want to take
There's no
accountability.
real head honcho.
Yeah, that's what it is. They don't want to take accountability. It's easier, when things go wrong. And it happens all the time. It happened during Trump era. It's happened now during the Biden. If it just like COVID hit our society when Trump was there, and who's to blame? And he's blaming China, but it's all the president needs to do something. He needs to do something. He ain't getting off his ass.
You always got to blame the head guy.
And the same,
like,
I mean, come on.
I'm gonna tell you something, Tim. In a household with a mother and a father, and a man and a woman, kids, father's usually the president. If anything goes wrong, who do they blame?
Your
If the
dad.
family fails, they blame the father. So that's typical. So typically, no one wants to be the father. No one wants to make a decision. No one wants to be the blame. And then the bad part about it is you got so many people involved in one decision. It's too many people saying no, but you need those votes. It's ridiculous. The government has to have some kind of plan to move it forward, especially. Let's think about the holidays and people getting laid off, not getting checks.
First,
Forget
you
the
have to be
federal
able to
government.
pass a fiscal budget to be able to operate a government, and they can't
For
even
everyone.
agree upon that.
For everyone. They complain about a bill, arguing about a bill. I'm like, it gets bigger than that. We got wars going on, money, trillions of dollars in debt on an interest rate or whatever. I'm like, and these are the ones we elected as our higher authorities to make these decisions. They can't make it.
And I believe you have a point. Did I mishear that, or did they say the average government employee is making around 60 to 70K a year?
Yeah. So but I could want to say they're going to lose a check.
See, that's not a whole lot of money. You're talking about what, $16, $17 an hour? That's not a lot of money.
Well, it really depends on what you got to put up with. It depends on what the tax break. Now, if you're making 60 to 70,000, you got to think about what taxes are taken out. So that means you're making under that.
Right. The only
And
benefit of
two-family
working for the government is you may have a retirement. When you.
Well, if you got two people in the same household working for the government, you're okay. But if it's only one individual working for the government, and then they're getting those taxes taken out, they're claiming 0, claiming 3, or whatever. You can't claim 3 because the rate is so high right now. They're taking out so many taxes. It depends. But at the end of the day, not only will those employees suffer, politicians won't suffer. The regular Joe will suffer. When he said that I won't have nothing on the plate, on the table for my family. Everyone's going to suffer by one man or one committee or one group or one society making a decision to do the right thing. And it's always about doing the right thing.
It is about doing the right thing. And that is
focused on that.
Sometimes doing the right thing, that leads us right into what I wanted to come up with next. Sometimes doing the right thing is so very difficult for some of these people in our government. And why? And you brought it up. You said because they're afraid of the big guy, right? And I mean, Steve.
Who's the big guy?
Let's say Trump in the
I don't think
Republican
he's
Party.
the big guy. Let's look at it, then we'll come back and talk about
In the
big
Republican Party, let's say Trump. And Steve Scalise, he's one of them that was going for the Speaker of the House, but then he got his butt whipped in some of the initial vote, and he pulled his hat, took his hat out of the ring. But anyhow, he did a interview on TV. I want you to listen to how he can't even say anything about the election. He just avoids it.
Can you say unequivocally that the 2020 election was not stolen?
What I've told you is there are states that didn't follow their laws. That is what the state constitution, the U.S. Constitution requires. I've seen in my own state where we had to send our elections commissioner to jail years ago for fraud and corruption, and we cleaned up our act in our state. Every state ought to follow the laws that are on their books. That's what the U.S. Constitution says.
That's not what I asked. I said, can you say unequivocally that the 2020 election was not stolen?
Look, Joe Biden's president. I know you and others want to talk about 2020. We're focused on the future. We've talked about 2020 a lot. We're talking about how to get our country back on track, how to get our economy moving, how to stand up to the bad actors around the world. Xi is not slowing down in China. He's looking at Taiwan. You see what's going on in Russia. You see what Iran is doing to work with Hamas and other terrorist organizations. This administration needs to pick up the pace. They're not standing up to the bad actors around the world. They need to. We're passing bills to address this through the House. The Senate needs to take action. The president needs to take action as well. That's what we're focused on in the House.
I know that Joe Biden is president. I'm asking you a different question. Can you say unequivocally that the 2020 election was not stolen?
What I've told you, and you've seen this, there are states that didn't follow the laws that are on their books, which is what the U.S. Constitution says they have to do.
So you just refuse to say unequivocally that the 2020 election was not stolen?
So you want to keep rehashing 2020. We're talking
I just want an answer to the question, yes or no.
Threats to this country. We've talked about this before, but again, will you acknowledge that there were states that didn't follow the actual state legislative enacted laws on their books, which the U.S. Constitution says they're supposed to do?
I know that every court that looked at whether the election was stolen said it wasn't, rejected those claims. And I asked you a very, very simple question. Now I've asked it, I think, the fifth time that you can't appear to answer. Can you say unequivocally that the 2020 election was not stolen?
I told you there were a handful of states that didn't follow their laws. The rest did.
Let's be perfect.
I don't know, man. See, I'm kind of tripping on that because I understand what he was asking him. Okay, but moving forward,
I understand about moving forward, but I mean, part of moving forward is acknowledgement of your past, right? To move forward, you have to acknowledge and embrace your past. And if, and legitimately, according to the courts and everything else, Biden beat Trump in the election. So accept that and say, now that you've had this opportunity with this guy, give us another opportunity. Don't sit there and, create a...
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Okay, I totally agree with what you set up. Okay, I see it now. Because I thought maybe we were kind of like backtracking and backsliding, but I see...
No, they're just trying to show the character of some... And you've got Steve Scalise. He's one of the head people in the House, and he can't even sit there and admit, but this is true. He did lose. He was beat. But what we need to do now is move forward. And
moving forward. He was fair and square.
How simple is a No, that's all he was trying to get him to say is, you're right, but let's move forward. It wasn't stolen.
I'm going to say this, though. People talk about Biden negatively. A lot of negative things about Biden. But, I listen with my eyes. Mm-hmm. Okay. I look at what I see. I believe what I see, not what I hear first. And is Biden completely capable of actually being a good role model for the United States as the president? Even when we was talking about the chairman, what's Biden's role in him making him make that decision? I'm really thinking that he might not be. I'm not saying Trump is a better one. I'm just saying we might have to look past Biden to actually get a better president because of his psychological state and physical state.
Right.
It's like right now, his politics have nothing to do with it. People are more concerned about everything else he's doing other than his politics.
Yeah, they're talking about his physical health, his mental health, all this other BS, that he's not handling, the economy properly, blah, 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 blah.
I don't see him getting involved like he should get involved.
But,
But I know I don't look at the news like you do, but Tim, be honest with me. From what you gather, what you've observed since his presidential election, moving forward, Is he as effective as he should be?
No,
What do you think?
no. Number one, there's a lot of decisions that he made that I completely disagree with. But hey, we put him in office, so you got to live with your choice. You want another choice? We got another vote coming up in November.
I don't think it should be Trump.
So I don't believe it should be Donald either. I don't think it should be Joe. I wish we had an alternative, and they got this. We'll see. Plenty of time yet.
It's gonna be crazy, man. We'll see. It's like life is like you got to roll the dice and see what happens. You can't really dictate it. That's the best part about life. You just got to just roll with it.
And there's a lot of, like I said, as we see there with Steve. And the inability for the government to get a lot of things done, and then there's so many different things going out there. The election was stolen. We have fake news media every place, and we do. We
There's
truly
so much
do.
corruption going
But
on.
let's look at how the news media and politicians can spread this misinformation. It becomes embedded in our psyche.
Humans are not rational creatures. We're biologically wired to reinforce our biases and sense of identity. In fact, one of the biggest predictors of whether someone will believe a new idea is whether or not they agree with it. One of the reasons fake news thrives is because of a thing called memory misattribution. That's when a person sees the same message repeatedly, but doesn't connect it to the original source. The brain interprets the repetition as familiar, and therefore more likely to be trustworthy. This is usually why repetitive advertising works so well. Conspiracy theories get turbocharged online because anyone can be a source of information, no matter if they're credible or not. There's just too much information to fact check. This makes the internet excellent at creating information bubbles where people only ever hear things that confirm their biases. In addition to expanding our bubbles, we always need to ask, does this source have a long track record of trustworthiness? And who benefits from me believing this?
Interesting perspective now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think some people feed off of that, Tim.
Absolutely. You know who really thrives off of it? And as I was watching that video and it sparked my brain, I'm like, how Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, they work on the algorithms of what you click on, right? Excuse me. So if you are watching this misinformation, oh, look at this. It's about Joe Biden having dementia, which he doesn't, but somebody's going to put that garbage out there, right? Okay, and so you keep seeing it over and over and over because you clicked on it. Now that algorithm of that particular group that you seem to be attracted to is going to keep popping up. Are you ever going to get the other side of the story? Well, probably not, because you're continuously blasted with, misinformation as it might be.
Well, I do really think that majority of the people on this earth are wired in a way, hope no one gets offended by this, to be a follower. I'm like, out of this whole world, we have some great leaders. Someone were good, someone were horrible, someone were mediocre, but people are wired to be followers. And I think that's just how it is. And then it takes someone with a catchy phrase or guns or a goal or whatever to make people follow them and believe in them. And this is how it goes. People are wired to be followers.
Oh, absolutely.
So it makes it easy for all this stuff, and the technology is changing. So it's easy to convince these weak-minded people to be followers. The majority, a lot of us, the ones that watch our show, and us, we're not built like that. We're different. But a lot of people out there outside of us, they're followers, and they fall into that scheme, and they get caught up in that, and that's how we have all these problems.
All right, you're right. That's why I'd went through leadership studies while I was going through college, and we talked a little bit about visions, and created a vision that people could adopt to, and then you would create a mission that people could adapt, grab a hold of. Our mission this year is to get the championship trophy for our league, because last year we got second place. This year our mission is, nothing's going to stop us, right?
Right.
So you can get a group of people and an entire school even behind that, right? And is it going to happen? I don't know, but you got a whole lot of groups, right? You got a whole lot of people.
You know what, Tim? You know what I noticed? You know, a lot of, if you think about the big organizations, they use talented people. You got the thinkers, then you have the talented people under thinkers. That the thinkers or the business owners or the big ones use the people with talent to get people to influence them more.
Mhm.
So basically,
Mhm.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You could be the
it is
master.
about influence. Exactly, it's about
You could be the
influence. Yeah,
mastermind.
100%.
You the
It's all
mastermind of the
influence.
show. Okay. And he said, I'm gonna get somebody real talented, real this, funny, like a Jamie Foxx type guy. I'm not saying I ain't him, but get somebody real talented, bring them in to bring in the people. But that person that you brought in to bring in the people, you know, you can control that person, manipulate them. You know, all they want to do is be funny. All they want to do is be famous, be popular, make money. But you got a bigger plan. And then under you got you, then that person brings in all these people. Then those people bring in people under them, and there you go.
Yeah, it's when you start bringing in like-minded individuals, and then you can have it. It becomes a cohesive effort. You're right.
And that's our society.
And that's how they change things. You know, if they want to make a change, you have a change agent that you're going to be putting into place, like i.e. for Dallas. Okay, we're going to get Dak to be our quarterback, and we're going to get rid of Zeke because he can't hang onto the ball. We're going to bring in blah blah blah. Right.
Then put commercials around him and make him look like he's a hero.
Yeah, right. So there's your change agent. Now, instead of people getting all frustrated with the Cowboys, now they're all blah, right?
And put them in good commercials where places where people shop at all the time. Home Depot,
it's all about
Lowe's.
influence. It's all about marketing. Yeah, and even in business and even in politics.
And Dak doesn't want to be that guy that creates all that. He wants to be the guy that plays football and does the commercials that people love. He wants to be loved. The other person that's in charge of Dak wants to be the one that wants people to, the mastermind want people to love Dak.
His press agent. Yeah, his press agent. Yeah.
Yeah, so the mastermind wants Dak to be loved so he can control Dak, so Dak control the people to get him money.
Hey, you know, that's what it's all about. Even think politicians do the same thing. How do you think they get on these? How do you think they get onto these TV shows and everything else? They've got, you know, you can call them aides, but they're still, you know, a press agent.
Tim, what's more powerful? Do you think what's more powerful, control or money?
Control.
Power. You don't need money when you got control.
Right. Control.
Because they're gonna bring you money. You say, hey, I'll run you. Bring me money.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions. Bring me the money. You don't need to go make money.
Just give them the illusion that they're free thinkers.
The media controls everyone. I see it.
Hey man, you know what? I was sitting there thinking, and let's move on. I was watching some stuff on TV, and I'm like, oh, I got to talk about this because this, you know, that we lived down in Dallas for a while. You know, traveling on the 30, especially, you know, when you get up around Six Flags and AT&T and all that shit, is just a fucking nightmare, right? Or even if you're downtown, getting onto the 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
no, downtown. Okay, you talking about
downtown
30,
Dallas. But anyhow, hey. I was sitting there.
75.
Oh yeah, stay away from that. But anyhow, I was sitting there thinking, just as bad, and probably worse, and more famously worse, is the I-10 in Los Angeles.
Ooh,
Did you hear they had a fire underneath that mug, and it shut down until they can decide if it's structurally sound or what they're going to be able to do. So I mean, they've got 300,000 or something like that. They said people travel over that, you know, during the day. That's getting rerouted in the side streets and shit. So, man. Hey, check out this video because now they're thinking it could possibly be arson.
And it's about a 20-minute wait to get back on the freeway to get to the East LA interchange.
Your evening rush hour commute may have been a bit more congested than normal. That's because one of the busiest stretches of freeway in the state with a daily average of 300,000 commuters is now out of commission indefinitely.
On Saturday, we activated our Emergency Operations Center to coordinate a response.
A local, state, and federal response due to the massive inferno in a storage yard underneath the 10 freeway in downtown LA, closing a 2-mile stretch in both directions between Alameda Street and Santa Fe Avenue. On Monday, LA Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Newsom toured the site of the charred remains where countless wooden pallets, vehicles, and other items were stored. Officials say arson is to blame for the blaze that torched more than 100 concrete columns.
Made a preliminary determination. There was malice intent.
The question is, who is responsible? More than a dozen people lived in an encampment nearby.
There is no reason to assume that the origin of this fire or the reason this fire happened was because there were unhoused individuals nearby.
Governor Newsom going after Apex Development, Inc., a Calabasas-based company that was leasing the yard as open airspace.
Members of that particular corporation have been bad actors. We've been in a litigious posture for some time. They stopped paying their rent. They're out of compliance.
I'm like, open airspace? How do you rent open airspace underneath a freeway, and why? The whole thing sounds stupid as hell to me.
Bro, they're trying to grind.
And these guys aren't paying the rent, right?
So everybody's wrong. So the mayor it had to be some sign offs. Had to be sign off somewhere, because you're just not going to rent open airspace. It had to be sign offs.
I've never heard of anything like that. I guess Los Angeles tries to use every fucking square,
Yeah. Well,
every square inch of space
if
they
you
can to
think about
collect
it.
a dime. But I mean, come on.
But then if they weren't paying rent, it's what about the safety procedures or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I wondered. I mean, if it was
involved?
arson, who's to say that this company that was losing their butt couldn't make bills, didn't start it themselves?
Yeah, and then file bankruptcy and then start over and put a new name
Collect
and
that
go
insurance
again.
on all that equipment.
And who the hell gonna be homeless and start a fire that fucking big?
No, that doesn't make any damn
They
sense, does
smoking
it?
crack. I ain't never heard of a crack pipe starting a fire that big.
I have to agree with that woman. Yeah, what was that? Was she the mayor or whatever kind of representative she may have been
Think she
of the
was the mayor.
city? But excuse me. Yeah, I have to agree that to sit there and start pointing the finger at the homeless, come on. You need to point the finger at the morons, like you said. Why would you run them space underneath the freeway like that? And you
If
know,
they're not paying
and
rent,
if they ain't
why they
paying
still
rent.
there?
Why don't you yank? You're quick enough to yank my car off the street if I'm not paying my meter ticket.
Put a boot on that joint. Yeah.
So I mean,
Like,
what's up with that? You know,
it's a bunch of what's that commercial? It's a commercial right now with the cell phone, humbo jumbo yada yada.
I haven't
What's the
seen
yada
it.
yada?
No.
What's the yada yada, bro?
What's a yada
You
yada?
got to do to protect yourself. What's the yada yada? You got to protect yourself. See, I don't do yada yada. We don't do yada yada. We inform everybody, and we straight to you. Say we messed up. We gonna say, hey, we messed up. But people around here, they don't want to admit that they messed up. They got a bunch of yada yada going on.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, back talking. Yeah, kind of like
talking
Scalise
in slang.
on our number 2 clip that we was watching. Just yada yada. Don't
Yada,
answer the
yada.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder how much that's going to cost. And it's interesting since it's underneath an interstate. It starts going into the federal government, state government, city government.
Well,
Everybody's like, what the hell?
I'm thinking like the structural damage. How much fire? How is fire deal with concrete? See, I'm not really.
Well, I'm not
about
sure what
that.
the effects on concrete would be, but you'd have to figure if you had construction equipment under there, then you obviously had diesel fuel under there, yeah?
So diesel is like a counteractive to concrete. Does it?
So I don't
create
know
some
what,
kind of-
it would have to be the heat that would degrade the concrete.
Yeah, you make it weaker or whatever,
Yeah, I would
something like
think,
that,
yeah.
because the chemical content.
I was thinking structurally it would, but from what I understand, now I caught a little clip there saying that it's not, that structural damage isn't as bad as they first thought it may be.
Okay, no. See,
Who knows?
I did welding. I got a degree in welding. Okay, you got 2 types of welding. One type is welding when people are going to walk on it in buildings and stuff like that. Then you got welding like you welding a cage for an air conditioning unit. Anything that someone is not going to use as something to walk on or to use as to hold people together, that's different compared to I'm gonna weld this cage and put around this air conditioning unit because it's not structural. The structurability of it does not matter because you put it on something compared to people using it.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if it says it's kind of structural damage, then it's bad. Anytime anyone is driving over it, standing on it, using it, putting pressure on it, And any kind of structural damage is bad. If you're not standing on it, then you're okay. If you're not using it for a
Support,
platform
support of some type, then the structural
support.
integrity doesn't have to be to the standards.
Yeah, but that's a bridge. If they say it's not that bad,
I'd be interested to see how they decide that its structural integrity is not degraded to the point to where it's going to support that kind of traffic.
Tim, if there's any kind of degrade going on with that, they can't use it. They got to redo it all. It's going to cost billions.
Be interesting. Hey, anyhow, on to some kind of good news, and maybe not. Well, kind of good news. Let's go to the good news, and then we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about. Come on, give me a break. An Ohio kidnap victim got recovered.
Police surround a shed with guns drawn. They take into custody a scary-looking dude with facial tattoos. Then cops enter the shed. They are looking for someone. Is there somebody up there in the loft? It's an unforgettable sight. A ghostly figure slowly makes her way down a ladder. That's not makeup she's wearing. She's got 2 black eyes. Police say 23-year-old Chloe Jones was beaten with a baseball bat and held in the shed for 4 days before she was rescued. Chloe says she wants her face shown as a warning for other women. She says the accused kidnapper, 33-year-old William Mazengo, offered her a ride home in Kenmore, Ohio. She made the mistake of accepting and ended up in the shed where she was beaten. It turns out Chloe Jones wasn't his first kidnapping victim. He was convicted of kidnapping another woman in Ohio in 2017, but was released after serving only 18 months in prison. Now that victim, Mackenzie Maston, is speaking out.
And the police were able to come in and swarm him, and the whole time during when he was getting in the cop car and everything else, he was screaming that he was going to finish what he started.
When you saw her black eyes, did you have those same black eyes?
Yes, it was one of the most scariest experiences of my life. I just can't believe that law enforcement and the court system is allowing him to keep reoffending.
There's a big letdown of it. Isn't that sad?
I don't know, Tim. Shit. It's bad for what he did, but Tim, I don't look. They made a bad decision on the man they picked.
We talk a little bit of. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to conversate after, because I knew you would go that way, and I feel the same way too. As
I don't like the way
we talk about keeping your damn head on a swivel, right? Because of the way times are. But I mean, when you get into a car with a complete stranger,
Tim.
I mean, I think I can take care of myself. And I would think you the same thing, but you're going to have a little bit of caution. Somebody, hey, I'll give you a ride, and you don't even know who this mug is.
Tim, you can look at the first female and tell she parties. She does some coke.
Right. She may be. Yeah. She may have, some type of a, alcohol, drug addiction. Who knows?
Okay,
that could be.
And then he took it too far and fucked her up. That's his personality. And he's not if you take away the tattoos and everything from the guy, he's a handsome guy. Am I right? So
I didn't look that close at him. No, I wasn't.
No, he's a handsome guy. If you take off all that bullshit and you cut his hair right, he's a handsome guy. Okay. She parties. Both of them party. He's a fucking abuser. He beats up women. He does that shit. And they decide to fuck with him. So outside of what happened to them, they were probably fucking with guys like him. He just had to be probably was the worst one. That's all I'm saying. I'm not always going to throw the guy under the bus. I'm just glad he wasn't a brother.
I think there's a couple of failures here.
You said throw that in there? Okay, go ahead.
No, there's a couple of failures. I think a failure
on both sides.
If you had a person that had committed that type of an offense against another individual prior to, and he does a little short term, 18 months in jail or whatever garbage that was. Mm-hmm. Then he's back out, and now he's reoffending, and they may as well just lock him up and throw away the key, because he has a problem. There's another failure. Now you've got a person that's got a psychological issue, right? that likes to have that dominant position over another individual, whether it be male, female, or even maybe an animal. Who knows the extent of his problems?
But that's not DNA. But the problem I got with that is.
But the same thing, let me keep going. Third failure
Yeah,
also could be on the female part, as you alluded. Some women, for whatever particular reason, are attracted to dominant men who may be an abuser. Now, is that a failure in the system? Yeah, because that's somebody who also, some of these different organizations should reach out and help. You don't need to subject yourself to that.
They didn't tell the whole story. The first female said he was abusive, gave her black eyes. He only did 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
If he was a kidnapper and such a bad person, how come he was only convicted for 18 months? Let's forget he was black. I mean, forget he was white or whatever. Let's forget the black and white shit.
I have no idea.
18
Doesn't
months.
matter.
So then the first female had some guilt. She was with him. There was a boyfriend. He fucked her up. He went to jail. He went too far. This female, she was involved with the same guy. He got tattoos all over his face. They didn't tell the whole story. They just found her climbing out the damn shed. But I'm pretty sure she had been with that guy for the longest, beating her ass. And that's not his first time doing it.
4 days he had her kidnapped. 4 days.
That's kidnapped. That ain't kidnapped, man. That's a lie. That's a scam.
Okay,
She ain't kidnapped her. She agreed to that crap. I'm like, you hiding in the shed. She not locked down with chains and anything like that.
You're out of your damn mind. She agreed to sit there and get held hostage in a shed and get her ass kicked.
Bro, she could have easily, she up in the ceiling.
Come on, man. What
Tim,
the hell?
Tim, if she was in a cage like a dog, I'm like, that's fucked up. If she was like in a cellar, she was in the fucking shed with a big ass open door. And she could have, come on.
Who knows what the situation is, but yeah, I totally disagree with your perspective on that.
If you got tattoos on his face, all over his face, pick the right guy. He's probably gonna beat your ass.
Okay. You're just no, man. You're wrong. You are just wrong. Let's move on.
He's probably gonna beat your ass. You got tats.
Okay, you're gonna get all kinds of hate mail to you on that one. Anyhow, hey, it is what it is, Larry.
Yeah,
let's move on. You know, there's all kinds of scams out there, right? And you had mentioned earlier, and it was kind of funny when you made the thing, is you mentioned the boot.
Yeah, right. Oh, you got to know that.
Right? No. It's even better. Look what they're doing in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia.
Philly,
that right there
Rocky, baby.
is a windshield barnacle. It's a device that sucks into a windshield so you can't drive. And it costs big bucks to get it off.
Last month, the investigative team parked in this lot on the 4600 block of Main Street in Manayunk. We paid $7 for 2 hours and waited. Within just a few minutes of overstaying our parking time, this man was putting what's called a windshield barnacle on our front window.
Besides it sucking onto my windshield, it sucked the life out of me that night. There's nothing on here that says anything about a barnacle.
Teresa Rodak also got barnacled in August. She says her parking expired in the same lot. She was 15 minutes late. She had to pay $475 up front to ABOB's Towing, like us, to have it removed. She received a $300 refund after she removed the device and dropped it in this bin in the parking lot. In the end, the parking fine ended up costing $175.
This is Chad Perdelli. I'm an investigative reporter with Channel 6 Action News, and I'm recording this conversation for broadcast.
We spoke to the owner of ABOB's Towing, McKenna Harrison.
Listen, some would call this predatory parking. You guys know what you're doing, and you're trying to take advantage of paying customers.
Did you pay?
She told us she believed the barnacles were legal, that signage out front of the lot is transparent, and that our vehicle was not immobilized.
Your car is not immobilized. You're free to go and drive off at your free will.
We can't drive with the windshield blocked.
Of course you can.
My concern about them is that they are unauthorized by the city of Philadelphia.
Philadelphia City Councilman Curtis Jones, whose district includes Manayunk, has now called for hearings after the investigative team alerted him to the problem. He wants changes to the towing laws to encompass windshield barnacles.
It's illegal and actually unsafe.
In 2016, the city passed a ticket-to-tow law, including in private pay parking lots. A key provision of the law states no vehicle shall be hooked, towed, or handled in any manner under this subsection unless the vehicle has been ticketed by the police or other law enforcement authority.
We need to. Sounds like a hustle to me. That somebody figured this out, figured this scheme out, and is implementing it without authorization. And we're going to take a hard look at it.
Private parking lot owners run a business, and it's fair to say they should be paid when people overstay their parking. But at what cost? The lot is owned by Rock Urban Development. Both the owner and ABOB's Towing declined comment and our request for an on-camera interview.
Yeah, like that surprises you. They don't want to talk about it. Is that a trip?
No, man, that's fair, bro. I'm like, if you park in somebody's area and you don't pay, that's their business. If that's all they got is their business, you gotta understand, Tim. In this world, we don't have much. We have our family, we have our health, and we have our business if we have one. If we don't have family and health, we have a job. And you get screwed by the job. So if you take time to start a business, you at least want to make sure you maximize every dollar that you can get out your business.
I think they did address that at the end. They said, if you and I are together deciding to lease a piece of property and turn it into a parking lot, and we want to charge, we should not be defrauded by the people parking in our lot.
Man,
it is. Right. You're parking. It's actually fraud. You're parking there without paying, right? Almost theft of services, however you want to look at it. However, I think the point that they were trying to make is Philadelphia had that anti-hook law without having the cop authorization, right?
That's not right.
So they're getting around. We're not towing your car. We're just putting this big blocker. I mean, you can't go any. What the hell?
Well, that's the gray area. So
they decided, well, let's get into that gray area and we can undercut what the law says, still get our money. What, $175? Isn't that a little steep?
You just paid you down 30 and you defaulted 175. So that's that lady's fault. The victim is the person that owns the business. The victim wasn't the car owner. They didn't want to broke the law. They didn't want to came into a parking lot knowing they had to pay and didn't want to pay.
Yeah, but when they're saying not even 5 minutes after the parking expired, the guy's over there slapping on the boot, he's not even giving you time.
Well, they shouldn't have parked in the first place.
Damn.
They should have paid the park.
I don't agree with that.
I agree with it because I thought about finding some area downtown if I could find something and then like get some parking and pay for it and open up a lot and then I'm gonna do.
I ain't never parking in your damn lot, Litter. I'm telling you right now.
Bro, as soon as you get out your car,
I'll park a mile away and walk.
Tim, I'm gonna put the damn boot on your leg. You gonna have that shit on your face. Clack, clack. You ain't gonna be able to walk. What? I can't see shit. Pay for your stuff.
You know what? I'll tell you what we used to do is we would go down to. I won't even mention. We would go down and watch a professional hockey team play, in
Dallas,
and they would charge you to get into the parking facility, right? And it cost you like $30 to $40. Or you could park right next to the place in the 1 hour parking, and you'd come out and you'd have a $35 ticket. So my idea was I would always park there and I'll catch the $35 ticket and I'll pay them. Hey, they didn't put a boot on me. They didn't, or what did that squashy thing they call that? That's ridiculous.
Right. Well, I'll be honest, man. The only problem I got with going to sporting events is you shouldn't have to pay for parking when you pay for the high ass ticket.
Yeah, the cost is. Oh yeah, look at. Let's go back to the Plowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys. How much are you paying for a ticket? And what was I'm trying to think what was the lot right there just to the east of the stadium? That was like a $50 lot, isn't it? And if you're around that Megatron, like a $40 lot around the Megatron, isn't it?
Yeah, and Tim, if you go to a professional football game, there's no such thing as a good ticket because it sucks. Because think about it. If you go to a professional game, no matter what it is, if anything happens, you miss it, you missed it. If you watch it on television, you can rewind it, you can pause it and record it, and it's better on television. There's no such thing as a good ticket at professional game. You're going for the experience only. Period. You're going just to say I was there.
Right.
It's a ripoff.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I sat there and think, because you remember our studios up in the Ranger Stadium, right?
Yep.
And I mean, and those were like suites. And anyhow, I mean, you didn't have all that great a view, and that's mega money for that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, I agree with you. I would much rather sit there in the comfort of my own home with my own six-pack and and
your
my
own
own
friends,
my own
your own
friends, and,
restroom, and
right?
your own beer that you don't spend a decent amount of money for. It's
I'm
just a
not paying
ripoff.
$10 for a watered down beer.
God, it's a ripoff. I hate them. I go to a preseason game. That's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, those are always fun. But
Yeah, ain't that many people out there, and it's just like you just go in. It's easy.
about the only way I'll go to a sporting event like that if somebody's got a spare ticket, just because I refuse to pay for that kind of craziness. Because to get a decent view, just like you're paying,
And you miss
you're
it.
paying
If a play happens,
you're paying a few
it's-
$100s to get down so you can have a decent view and catch what's going on.
Yeah, and if a play, I don't care if a play happens, you're gonna miss it. Period. You're gonna miss it. You might as well just stay at home, watch the game, or watch the game there and then go home and rewatch.
Isn't it kind of
'cause
funny
you're gonna
though when
miss
you got these people in the stands or at the game, but they're watching it on their little portable, they're watching it on their phones and stuff? It's like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
it. Waste of money.
Waste of
Stupid
money.
people. Stupid.
Speaking of waste of money and what could be coming up is, here's a great thing to, since it is the holiday season, coming up on Thanksgiving here in a week, right? And in a little under a month, or a little over a month rather, we're going to be celebrating Christmas again. And for your viewing pleasure and actually for your security, we're going to tell you about the 12 scams of Christmas.
'Tis the season, and the Better Business Bureau doesn't want scammers to profit off your generosity. The BBB released its new top 12 scams of Christmas that consumers are likely to fall for. News4Jax reporter Brianna Andrews breaks down the top tips to follow this holiday season.
As Christmas approaches, the Better Business Bureau has released a naughty list of the top 12 scams of Christmas that it says is most likely to catch people off guard this season. Most of the scams on the list are through emails and social media platforms. The schemes include everything from misleading social media ads to social media gift exchanges, fake charities, shipping notifications, pop-up virtual events, and puppy scams also on the list. You can avoid most of the scams by taking a few simple precautions. First, any ads that discounted items, job opportunities, donation requests, and even messages from strangers should be treated as red flags. Also, if you are asked to make a payment or donation by wire transfer or by a gift card, beware. Try to use a credit card whenever possible. Credit cards offer a layer of protection if something goes wrong with a purchase. Now, to see the Better Business Bureau's full list and additional tips on how to stay safe this holiday season, just visit news4jax.com. Brianna Andrews, Channel 4, the local station.
Yeah, just use your head. Don't get
Use your credit
scammed.
card when you make purchases. Discover. I'll use Discover.
Don't be giving your card over. There's one of the big things is there's so many ways to shop, and especially, let's go with the misinformation thing that we was talking about earlier, Larry. LRE Fitness is giving away a pair of brand new Jordans, at a discount price. And, all these people are sending in their credit card information, right? So you got all these people's credit card. You've got their CV code off of the back. And they're just going to some site because, it looked good. And it's the same thing that people fall for when they get these emails from like the IRS or from the police, that you owe money. Mm-hmm. They're not going to contact you like that. People, use your logic, use your head. How do you get suckered into that stuff? If it smells wrong, it probably is wrong. If it smells like a skunk, it is a skunk.
Those are the weak-minded individuals we spoke about earlier. They get sucked into that, and that's how they are. They complain.
Did I say that wrong? I think our parents may have said that too. If it smells like a skunk, it probably is a skunk.
I say if it barks, it's a dog. Meows is a cat.
Right? Yeah, use your head this, coming season, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming across, your social media devices, whatever you're listening to, watching. And, just don't be giving out information, and if you have a question, talk to a family member before you make a snap decision. Consult somebody before you be giving out information like that, especially when they're starting to want some personal information like your credit card and information off of the back of that, your social security number, DOB, all that stuff is none of their damn business.
Tim, my wife don't even know all my shit. She don't even know my real name. She know me by my government name is Larry Richard. I ain't finna tell everybody that my real name.
Larry
My wife
Richard
knows
Estelle.
my wife knows my real name, but I ain't telling everybody on the show my real name because
I
they gonna
wouldn't.
try to.
Then they'll look you up and they'll figure out that wait, he used to be special ops, and that's why he's all undercover now.
Special ops.
He's actually now in witness
Special ed.
protection.
I'm more close to special ed
Wait,
than special
he's in
ops.
witness protection, but he broadcasts on the internet. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, man. I'm like the small thing said. Use your credit card when you're making purchases. Doesn't matter. You can always pay that right back out of your checking account. You always use your credit card.
Well,
your checking account,
the other thing about it is, right, Larry, is your credit card has insurance for false
your
purchases.
checking account doesn't, and it's harder to get money back from. Think about this: if everything is wired to your checking account and you take a hit, it's going to be devastating. If it's wired to your credit card, you take a hit. Oh well, because you still got your money in your regular account that covers all your regular bills and all the big shit.
Yeah, they have to figure that out.
Or just go to the store and buy it.
And there's so many ways for them to get a hold of your credit card. Number one, I never put my card in the pumps outside at the gas station.
I'm bad at that.
Ever.
I don't like going inside. Yeah,
I go inside all the time.
I
Never.
only got one time. I got scammed once.
Yeah, I got scammed once on that. And I'll never do it again. Yeah, outside they had read my card, and then it was like, what the hell? So yeah, I had to cancel my card immediately.
I got my money
Big
back.
pain in the butt. Oh, I did too, but it's still a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you what. Hey, let's get on to let's get on to your favorite part and find out who our asshole of the week is. Well, you're not going to believe it.
An old-timer is about to get the fright of his life. It's late at night and he's getting cash out of an ATM. Out of nowhere, a masked mugger appears. He grabs the 77-year-old victim and demands his money. But this thug is about to get his bell rung. The sprightly septuagenarian breaks free and starts pummeling his attacker with punches. Now watch as he puts up his dukes old school style. Kind of looks like gentleman Jim Corbett from the 19th century. Then he makes a gesture as if to tell the mugger, bring it on. The crook throws in the towel. It's a first round TKO.
I thought we was going to have a brawl.
That was a good enough brawl. Come on, that was funny as hell.
If I would knock the old ass guy out.
That guy thought he was probably going to get over on that old man. The old man put
Yeah, the guy that came up was not serious. He was like, I'm trying to get me some money. But I'd have knocked the old. If I was going to rob him, I'd have knocked him out. But if I was an old man, I'd have put hands on the guy. When I saw that he wasn't serious, I said, oh, you finna get the hands, baby.
He tattooed him a couple of times upside the head. That was funny or no?
Damn, he should have beat. I was hoping that old man whooped that dude's ass.
He took off too fast. Kid went running, didn't he?
No, they were probably about the same age.
Kid went a running.
The old man was like, "Motherfucker, I'm 70." Oh shit, I'm 72. Look it. That's funny.
Hey, anyhow, I want to show something serious, and there was actually this is Adam Johnson. He was a professional hockey player. He played actually for the University of Minnesota. He played a little bit with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he played while he was playing in the game for the Nottingham Panthers over in England. This 29-year-old was in a horrific accident, and if it wasn't an accident, it may have been on purpose. I don't know. Matt Petgrave, he was an opposing player. This happened back in October 28th of this year. Check it out, and then we will get back. This is kind of horrific, but check it out, what happened to this hockey player.
He got him with the skate. The spike.
Yep. As he was going past him to check him, for whatever reason, he decided to give him kind of like a back heel kick. Like he would.
Cut his throat.
And cut his throat.
I saw that.
So now.
Did he survive?
No.
He died?
He died. Adam died, and he was a 29-year-old. Now he's gone, and this Petgrave guy is charged with manslaughter.
He's charged.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, that looked, that looked intentional to me. It's not like...
It's hockey, Tim.
I played all my life growing up since I was old enough to walk.
Yeah,
I was on
hockey
skates.
more than me. Well, you know hockey more than me.
I'm telling you what those...
I'm saying, what are the rules?
There's no kicking.
Did he intentionally kick him on purpose?
Because he had did it before. Yeah, that is one of the guy's moves.
He's done it before?
Yeah, that's one of the guy's moves. Usually he kicks the people in the chest area.
Then how come he's still playing the league then, Tim? If he did it before, knowing
but he didn't kick the guy in the throat. He usually kicks people in the chest, from what my understanding is. This is this guy's move.
You know what?
But I mean, you got to understand. You know what? We used to, when we would get our skates back, we would make sure they're sharp enough by you run a piece of paper over and it cuts the paper.
I understand that.
I mean, they're razor sharp. So yeah, I mean, you're not kicking people. I had a when I was back in high school playing, I had a teacher, actually. He played for the Falcon team, the university team there, and he had gotten kicked in the face. And it was it was an accident. And I mean, man, it just laced him from like his temple on down to his chin.
It's called a $150. But Tim, if he's done it before, and the regulation and the rules did not hold him accountable then, why would they hold him accountable now when somebody's dead?
Well, because now you violated the law. It's not necessarily, you violated the rules on the ice, Larry. Go sit for 5 minutes and don't do it again. Now you've taken another individual's life from them, and that's manslaughter, homicide, murder, however
he's a fucking kicker. He kicks. They know that.
Right.
He kicked somebody and finally killed somebody.
Right. Now now he's gonna.
Yeah, but Tim, if he did it before and they let him go back on the ice, that should be like in football. If you target him, you get thrown from the game.
Right, and I'm sure he has been disciplined for it before, but I mean, it wasn't a enforceable code through statute or through the law. And I'm sure he's gonna be convicted.
That's wrong then.
What he did was wrong. What he did.
He's wrong for what he did, but he shouldn't get convicted because he did something he's already done. That the code of hockey. You're more of a hockey player than I am. The code allowed him to be back out there. The hockey teams or league allowed him to be back out there to do another thing he normally does. And now
they do game suspensions, 2 game suspensions, depending upon the. There's a lot of people don't know. People like Marty McSorley and some of these people back in the day. Professionally, yeah, they serve suspensions, for cracking people over the head with sticks and, extremely violent acts out there. And yeah, they have disciplinary measures, but, this guy, the violation for kicking in his hockey is 2 minutes, Larry.
No. You talking about the law. Was he malicious? Yes.
Looked like it to me.
What's the motive? Was there a motive? Was he intentionally trying to kill that guy?
That's why it would be manslaughter. Because there's no intent. Right, there was no intent. There was no premeditation and there was no intent.
So he should not get convicted.
So sure he will be. You can't just get off because, what? Okay. Watch what happens. We're going to follow this one too.
I'm saying, but I'm just saying me.
Watch what happens. Yeah.
He shouldn't get convicted. Cool. Okay.
Even if there was no premeditation, there was no intent, his,
he's done it before. He's had his.
But his behavior was reckless.
Then he needs to sue the hockey league. He needs to sue the hockey league.
But the law prosecutes reckless behavior.
No, it was part of the game.
Okay, but go read your statutes. You're going to say that a purposely, knowledgeably, recklessly, or willfully commit. Those are the 4 elements that you need to. That's how you categorize crimes.
Are they gonna prove that? Can they prove he did it?
Sure, they could. Yeah, absolutely. You don't think that he was negligent in that? You don't.
I just know football.
You don't think he was reckless in that behavior?
I don't know hockey.
I can prove recklessness. You should. Yeah.
I can prove it. I can prove it outside of hockey, but I can't prove it in hockey. So
I can't prove intent, and I can't prove that it was premeditated. But I can prove. I can sit there and say that he was reckless in his behavior.
Okay, reckless, yes, but motive is.
That's why it goes down to manslaughter, and he's not going for a murder charge.
It's just as bad.
I know. I'm just saying how the law goes.
Law, okay.
Law is written. I mean, you got to read the law. It's just, they throw on these little words.
Law. It's so.
Whatever
so
word
vague.
they put in there, that's how they classify
the law is very,
what you're going to
vague.
get prosecuted for. Yeah.
Not consistent, and it's very.
Well, that's what the law is all about. The government's non-consistent. The government is non-consistent. That's what we're saying. People
Life is
hey, listen.
We're consistent.
We are all put on this earth with the ability to discern right from wrong, good from evil. Long before, well, not even long before, but hey, from the moment that Adam and Eve decided to pick the apple from the tree of knowledge, we know right from wrong. We know good from evil. We know how things should be done properly. You have a conscience. Listen to your conscience. When you see wrong, when you see inconsistencies, when you see that the people in the government aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, do freaking something about it. I've preached this before. You have the ability. Hey, you yourself can go into city, state, whatever, and make your voice heard. Because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, people. That's all I can say is get out there and squeak a little and make a difference. Right, Larry?
Yes.
Tell them to squeak a little.
Squeak. Hey, if you're working out, you're not squeaking. Stay oiled up. LRE Fitness Solutions. Check me out on Instagram, IG, or Facebook. LRE Fitness Solutions. We keep you moving. This is my tip for the week. I train in the gym. I train outside the gym. Listen, people, you got to understand that training in the gym and outside the gym has to benefit you. So you have to make a good decision on how you're going to choose your trainer. Do you want to train in the gym, outside the gym? Is it too much to train in the gym? Do you want to take a chance on training outside the gym with a trainer that has lower rates? You have to make a decision, but you just make a decision and feel comfortable, and make sure that anytime you don't feel comfortable with the decision you made, but when you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and make another decision and try it out, because it's all about you and your body. All right? Remember, fitness is very important, but you got to make the right decisions fitness-wise for you, not for the trainer, not for the gym. Look out for number one, which is you. LRE Fitness Solutions, Facebook, IG, holla at me.
All right. Hey, man, fitness is good. Hey, what do you think about, what I was happy to see the other day on watching football last week? Damar Hamlin on the field again.
Oh, the guy that had the heart attack and passed out, almost died?
Yep, they had him in for a few plays. He's playing some defensive back stuff. So, yeah. It was interesting to see that he's recovered from that. And that just goes to show you kind of like what I've talked about, especially if you keep yourself physically fit. You're going to have a quicker recovery period.
I've dodged 2 accidents fatal. Motorcycle accident, and I had another tragic car accident. Motorcycle accident, if people could notice this, I destroyed my bicep. And then I split my skull open completely I split it open completely, and I'm still here. But the doctor said, man, you're in great shape. You're very physically fit. So that's why you're still here. And my recovery was great. So fitness and just life. Just things Tim say.
Keep yourself physically
knowledge
and
and
mentally
stuff.
aware. I mean, I'm kind of curious, there
Mind and
there
body,
is hope
baby.
in the future. I'm kind of curious on what's going to happen with LeBron's kid, little LB Jr. See,
Well, he exercises. I'm
but
like,
hopefully his
Tim,
recovery
I'm gonna tell
period
you,
is the same thing.
I'm gonna tell you something. You can smoke crack, do all kinds of drugs and meth and all this, and drink alcohol, but if you work out, it gives you a better chance. You will live longer compared to doing it and not working out, not exercising, not training, not being physically active. So you can do all. I'm not saying you should do it, but all I'm saying is exercise is very important.
And a part of that was, a lot of people, and some don't know, some do, as I went through my chemotherapy for my cancer, my recovery period was just quick after it was all said and done. And part of the doctor alluded to it is because you're physically fit. It's obvious that you exercise, that, you eat right, you do stuff. Yeah, and it does. It makes a difference, especially, as you said, Larry, if you're in some type of an accident or you got some type of a disease that happens to, be thrown upon you, you want to keep yourself, physically fit as well as mentally fit.
You buy time when you exercise and stay in
So,
shape.
yeah. We are here for you. We're here to pump you up. Anyhow, I think it's about time to get on out of here and just tell these people until next week. We'll see you. Peace, man.